Happy Roshan Johnson Day. It's official. It's an official holiday. December 10th, 2023. Roshan Johnson Day. This is the day. This is the day that we're going to get the breakout from Roshan Johnson. It's going to be full wheels up for Roshan Johnson in that Bears backfield. Game environment's going to be perfect for it. I don't give a fuck that Deontay Foreman is back from his injury. I don't care. Do not care. Maybe I should, but I don't. Do not care. Deontay Foreman is not a difference-making running back. He's just not. Roshan Johnson is. He's an all-purpose running back. He's explosive. He's got excellent receiving skills. He's one of the better pass-blocking running backs in the NFL. And the Bears are going to have to pass the ball quite a bit because they're playing against the Lions. And they're going to be playing from behind. So they're going to have to drop back, which means we're going to see a lot of Roshan Johnson. And the last time we saw the Bears play, Roshan Johnson was on the field for 74% of the snaps. All right, he was on the field for 74% of the snaps. Don't come at me with Deontay Foreman's back. I don't care. I don't care. Deontay Foreman won't reach 30% snaps today. Khalil Herbert won't reach 30% snaps today. It's going to be the full Roshan Johnson show. Full Roshan. I'm here for it. We've been waiting for this for months. And I know Roshan had the concussion in the middle of the season that kind of set him back. And Deontay Foreman was playing well for a few weeks there. I get all that. That happened. It happened. There was a setback earlier in the season. There was a setback. But now it's go time. It's go time. Just in time for the fantasy football playoffs. Roshan Johnson is here. And I have him starting in multiple lineups today. It's felt so good to finally put him in my lineup. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see what he can do today against the Lions. But what we're here to do is we're here to answer your start-sit questions. We got 33 minutes until kickoff. We're going to try to get to as many start-sit questions as we possibly can. We always get a ton of them coming in on the TikTok side. They're already flowing. Great to see. If you do want me to guarantee that I'm going to answer your questions, hop over to the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. Just find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. The link is in the TikTok bio. I will guarantee that I'll get to your question on the YouTube side because sometimes they just get lost. There's so many that come through on TikTok, they get lost. It's hard to keep up with them all. We get a lot less on YouTube, so I'll see those a lot clearer. So hop over, Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. We'll get to your questions. Jalen Waddle or Brandon Ayuk? We're going to go Brandon Ayuk. Why is this even a question at this point? Jalen Waddle has been one of the bigger busts in fantasy football this year. I know he's had a couple good games, but Brandon Ayuk has been about as consistent as anybody. Let's pick two. Austin Eckler, Zach Moss, Jahmyr Gibbs. We gotta go Zach Moss, we gotta go Jahmyr Gibbs. We're gonna sit Austin Eckler in that scenario. Austin Eckler, I talked about him on last night's show. Austin Eckler is trending towards being a big cloud of dust. All right. The coaches, the equipment staff today for the Chargers, they brought their dustpans and brooms because they gotta sweep up the dust after every time Austin Eckler runs. It's just flowing off of him. They just got to, sweep up the dust. So yeah, we're going to go Moss and Gibbs there. Moss had a great role last week. Moss had a 94% snap share. I know the fantasy production wasn't there, but the role was there. We're going right back to Zach Moss. All right, let's get this one from Julio. Choose two between these three guys. Standard league. We got Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, and Josh Jacobs. We're gonna go. These. So I have all three of these guys as top 10 running backs this week, so I'd love to play them all. But I'm gonna play Kamara for sure. Definitely gonna play Kamara. This is gonna be a Kamara game because Derek Carr has to be wheeled out in a wheelchair today. He'll be playing from a wheelchair, so he's not gonna be able to throw the ball down the field to Crystal Lave and those guys. So he's going to be handing the ball off to Kamara, checking it down to Kamara all game long because he's just sitting in a wheelchair, just dinking and dunking. So we're definitely going Kamara. And then I think we got to go Josh Jacobs. I think I have him in Saquon ranked back-to-back. So I'm going to go Jacobs there. I would love to play them both. And I do have them back-to-back. RB7 for Josh Jacobs, RB8 for Saquon Barkley. At this point, it really just comes down to they have a very similar role in very similar offenses. And I think the matchup with the Vikings is slightly better for Josh Jacobs than the matchup against the Packers is for Saquon Barkley. That's really all it comes down to. But both top 10 running backs, both have their flaws in their situations. So I guess we have to sit Barkley there. Let's get this one from Peter. Jahmyr Gibbs or A.J. Dillon. We're definitely going Jahmyr Gibbs here. I know these Lions running backs are a little bit game script dependent at this point, but A.J. Dillon, he's had multiple opportunities to be the guy in that Packers backfield this year, and it just really hasn't given us much. So I'd rather have Jahmyr Gibbs in a split backfield in a good offense with David Montgomery than to have A.J. Dillon basically by himself, even though we have seen some Patrick Taylor. And there's still a chance that Aaron Jones plays. All right. Cortland Sutton or Puka Nacua. Ooh. Yeah. So I bet I have these guys ranked very, very closely. Yeah, and I do. I'm going to go Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton's just been more consistent than Puka Nacua. And then Puka Nacua, he also has to compete with targets with Cooper Kupp. Supposed to be a little bit of weather there today. I don't really care too much about that. But give me Cortland Sutton against the Chargers as opposed to Puka Nacua against the Ravens. Evan Ingram or Dallas Goedert. So Trevor Lawrence is playing. It's a miracle. I don't know what this guy is made of, but dude is like impossible to take down, apparently. So we're going to go. I have them back to back. Tough matchup for Evan Ingram. I'm going against the Browns. The Browns have been absolutely elite defending tight ends this year. And with a hobbled Trevor Lawrence, it might be a little bit difficult to get a ceiling game from an Evan Ingram. He finally got in the end zone last week, which was great. Dallas Goedert coming back. Hasn't played in about a month. But that should be a shootout game. Lots of points, lots of opportunity to score in that game. So we're going to play Dallas against Dallas. I do have them ranked back-to-back. We're going to go Goedert. He's my tight end 7. Evan Ingram, my tight end 8. Let's get this one from Daniel. Saquon Barkley or DeAndre Swift? Yeah, I think we got to go Saquon here. DeAndre Swift's a little bit banged up after last week, so we might see a little bit more Kenneth Gainwell than we normally do. Yeah, I think we'll go Barkley there. I think they're both good plays. But we'll give the edge to Saquon. Let's get this one from Jaden. Start 2 between Michael Pittman, Williams, the most popular name in the world with no first name. Who knows? I'm going to assume it's Javonte Williams. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think we got to use first names when we have a Williams. So Michael Pittman, Javonte Williams, or Devon Achane. So I'm going to go Devon Achane, and I'm going to go Michael Pittman, and we're going to sit Javonte Williams. I get this one from Ryan. Devontae Smith or Travis Etienne? I think we got to go Travis Etienne. I know it's a tough matchup, but they're probably going to lean on Travis Etienne more today than they normally do, given Trevor Lawrence's injury issues, but definitely a difficult matchup. But I'm going to go Etienne there. I'm going to go Etienne. I do think Devontae Smith is a fantastic play today. He'll have a good game, but we're going to go Etienne. If you can find a way to get Devontae in your lineup, like I don't know what these leagues are where you can't play Devontae Smith, but Do it if you can. All right, let's get this one. All right. From Keenan, we got Josh Dobbs, Trevor Lawrence, or Jake Browning. So normally I would say this is a pretty easy one. We're going to go Trevor Lawrence. But again, the injury definitely plays a role here. So I do have him and Josh Dobbs ranked back to back. I have Trevor Lawrence as my QB 14, Josh Dobbs as my QB 15, and I have Jake Browning as my QB 18. He's got a really good matchup going against the Colts today. I mean, if Jake Browning plays like he did last week, then Jake Browning would be the easy answer here. You'll have a fantastic game against the Colts. But I think I want to see one more week of that from Jake Browning before we just start rolling him out like blindly. I mean, it's a great matchup, but it's still Jake Browning. Like I said, I would like to see one more week. So I'm going to give the slight edge to Trevor Lawrence over Josh Dobbs. But if you're a little bit more risk averse, you're a little bit worried about the ankle with Trevor Lawrence, I'm totally fine if you want to play Dobbs. I think all three of these guys will probably give you a fairly similar production today. So I don't think you really go wrong one way or another. If it's me, I'm just going to play the guy that I normally would play, and that would be Trevor Lawrence. Let's get this front. Can't talk. Get this one from Lon. It is, who scores more touchdowns, Gus Edwards or Tony Pollard? I mean, touchdowns are pretty random for the most part. So I'm going to say Tony Pollard. His role is much more solidified than a Gus Edwards. Tony Pollard has been used a lot in the red zone this year. Finally started scoring touchdowns over the last few weeks. And I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that Cowboys-Eagles game, which means that there's more opportunities for a guy like Tony Pollard to score touchdowns. So if I had to choose that, I'm going to go Tony Pollard. And who scores more touchdowns today, Zay Flowers or Jaden Reed? Again, if I had to predict, I guess we'll go Jaden Reed. We'll go Jaden Reed. Why not? No Christian Watson. They like to get Jaden Reed involved in multiple different ways. He's the wide receiver one now in Green Bay. All right, so I don't know what the hell this is from Jaden. It just says Kyron Williams MB. No idea what that means. Oh, gotcha. That's in reference to the earlier question. All right. So we got to go back to this earlier question. See, this is what I mean. We can't just say Williams, the most popular. It's like, do I play Jones? Do I play Williams? Gotta use a first name. All right, so we're going to go back to this question from Jaden earlier. Michael Pittman, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams was the question. And it's still going to be the same answer for me. I'm still going to go Achane, and I'm still going to go Pittman. But I definitely would like Kyron Williams a lot more than I would if it were Javonte. But we're going to go same answer we had, Pittman and Achane. I appreciate you clearing that up for me, Jaden. Kingley has the next question. Start two, full PPR. Zach Moss, Travis Etienne, or Devon Achane? Got to start two of these guys. We're definitely going to play Achane. Achane had what? 17 carries last week? Is that right? I believe he did. Fantastic role he came back to. There was a lot of concern that maybe, because the last time he tried to play, he re-aggravated the knee injury. I have Devon Achane as a top 5 running back this week. So we're going to play him. And then what was it? Travis Etienne and Zach Moss. So I'm going to go Etienne. I know it's a difficult matchup, but he's the more talented, more explosive running back. Zach Moss, still a good play. I have him just outside the top 12. He's my RB14 for the week. So he's a good play as well. Fantastic role for him last week. I expect we'll get more production than he had last week. But I'm going to roll with Travis Etienne. All right, DK Metcalf or Drake London. This one's from my guy Ryan. No Geno. I mean, is that Is that an official thing? Because last I saw, it was kind of like 50-50. We weren't sure. Do we have the news on that? I'm not sure. I don't see anything, but there's a good chance. There's a good chance we end up getting Drew Lock, which would be tragic. So I've definitely bumped DK Metcalf down the rankings. I bumped him down the rankings this morning with that news. Plus, I mean, he's already got a difficult matchup going against the 49ers. With that said, I still got to play DK Metcalf. I can't play Drake London at this point, especially with DK coming off the game he just had. I know there's definitely risk involved, but what is his floor? His floor is Drake London, right? I mean, it's the same thing. So I'm going to still play DK Metcalf. I think he's going to give you a lot more of a higher ceiling. Drew Lock would be tragic, but I trust that. I mean, we see these backup quarterbacks come in, and when they have an alpha wide receiver, they tend to lock in on that guy because they don't go through their read progressions the same way that a starting quarterback typically does. So if DK Metcalf is the first read, more often than not, he's just going to throw it to DK Metcalf. So I'm going to trust that. I'm going to roll with Metcalf. All right. Get this one. Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. We're going to start 3 of these guys. I think we give Cooper Kupp one more week. One more week for Cooper Kupp. And then we're going to go Calvin Ridley. We're going to go Zay Jones. So I guess we're going to bench Puka, which I don't feel great about that. But, I mean, these are 3 pretty good options here. I definitely have them ranked all 3 very close together. Let me just pull up the wide receivers real quick. So I got a Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 19. I got Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 18. And we got Puka Nacua as wide receiver 23. So, I actually have him ahead of Zay Flowers slightly. Zay Flowers is my wide receiver 26. So I guess we're going to sit Zay Flowers. That's what we'll do. We'll play Ridley, Kupp, and Puka, and we'll sit Zay. If you feel uncomfortable playing both Rams wide receivers, I mean, I'm okay with playing Zay Flowers. I have him very close to these guys as well. All right, let's keep it going. Like I said, to TikTok, if you have questions, come over to the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. I'm much more likely to see your question over here. So I guarantee that I'm going to answer it. So hop over to Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube, jump in the comments. Link is in the TikTok bio, but we'll keep things rolling here. Pick 2, PPR, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Cortland Sutton, Zay Flowers. We're definitely playing Stephon Diggs. He doesn't need to be part of this question. And I guess we'll go Cooper Kupp. I have Cooper Kupp, I think, 1 or 2 spots. I think 1 spot ahead of Cortland Sutton. And really, at this point, it's only because he's Cooper Kupp. We got to trust one more week. I'm going to give him one more week. See what happens. If you want to play a little bit safer, I think you can play Sutton over Kupp. But I'm going to play Diggs, and I'm going to play Cooper Kupp. Amari Cooper or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This one's a challenge. Man. I mean, we're going to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, he's the starter, but I really think that if we're going to get any production out of that Chiefs backfield, it's probably coming from Jerick McKinnon. Because let's be honest, CEH is kind of gross. But then we got Amari Cooper coming off his injuries. Didn't really practice fully this week. He's got Joe Flacco as quarterback, but I think he is the better of the 2 here. I'm going to play Amari Cooper. Assuming this is a PPR league. If this is a standard scoring league, give me Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Get this one from Ari. Ari is asking Rashad. Wow, I can't read. I'm stupid. I was going to say Rashad White. I always have Rashad White on the mind. But it doesn't even come close to Rashad White. I saw an R, and Rashad White. I dream of Rashad White. So I don't know what went wrong with me there. Rashi Rice. Oh, I guess his first name is kind of close. All right, maybe that's where I got there. Rashi Rice. Rashi Rice or Brees Hall at the flex. Going against the Bills, I think we gotta go with Rashi Rice. I think we gotta go with Rashi Rice. Man, I don't love it. I don't love it. But I think if either of these guys is gonna have a great game, it's gonna be Rashi Rice. If you want a floor game, Brees Hall probably gives you the safer floor here. I actually like Zach Wilson being back at quarterback for the Jets for Brees Hall, just because I know Zach Wilson sucks, but he was the best of Trevor Siemian or Tim Boyle. Like, that is disgusting. But we are going to go Rashi Rice. I just think he gives you the higher ceiling, and that's usually where I lean. All right. Flex 1, DeAndre Hopkins, James Cook, or Rashi Rice. This one, I think we'll go with... I was going to say pretty easy DeAndre Hopkins, but it's really not an easy one. I am going to go Hopkins over Rice. So then it comes down to, should we play Hopkins or should we play James Cook? James Cook's been playing pretty well lately prior to the bye week. And that game could be a lot of points scored, but there's also going to be a lot of points scored in Miami. The Titans are going to have to throw the ball quite a bit, I think. So I'm going to go DeAndre Hopkins, slight edge over James Cook, who also would be a slight edge over Rashi Rice. So it's a good problem to have. These are 3 good options this week, I think. I'm going to go Hopkins, though. Get this one from Billy. Billy's asking to pick 2 between Cole Kmet, Calvin Ridley, Jonathan Mingo, and Jacoby Myers in half PPR. So this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go Cole Kmet, and I'm going to go Calvin Ridley. Jonathan Mingo has been ascending, though I don't love Jonathan Mingo as a talent. Didn't love him as a prospect coming out of Ole Miss, but cannot deny that his role, at least the usage, has been there over the last couple of weeks. He's been ascending, at least in that category, as Adam Thielen has kind of been trending the other way. But we are going to go Kmet, and we're going to go Calvin Ridley. I think Cole Kmet could score a touchdown today going against the Lions. Play 3, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Raheem Mostert, James Cook. So this one, the first 2 are going to be pretty easy for me. Tony Pollard and DeAndre Swift. So it comes down to, are we going to play Raheem Mostert or are we going to play James Cook? And I'm going to go with, I think we could go James Cook. We're going to go James Cook. Yeah, let's go James Cook there. It's hard to sit Mostert in a good offense like the Dolphins, but with Achane there at this point, the role is just unreliable. So we're going to go Cook over Mostert. All right, we already got this one from Billy. Let's get this one from Brandon. Brandon is asking, Dave Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, or Tony Pollard in the flex? So for me, I'm going to go Tony Pollard here. I have Tony Pollard back in my top 5 running backs this week. He's been playing well lately. He looks better. Like, he looks like himself. He looks like the same running back we saw last year. He looks explosive. He looks fluid. He looks like he's got his speed back. And that's just something we weren't seeing from him in the first half of the season. I don't know if it was just lingering effects from the injury that he had at the end of last year, the surgery he had in the offseason. Maybe we just didn't respect that injury enough heading into the season. And now in the second half, we're starting to see the real Tony Pollard finally back healthy and looking like himself. He looks far better. So I'm going to play Tony Pollard there. I do have Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as definitely good starts this week. I think they're my RB11 and RB12. RB12 and RB13. So I have Gibbs at RB12, Montgomery RB13, and I have Tony Pollard as my RB3. So I know that the Eagles are pretty difficult to run against, but there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game, which is going to be Very good for Tony Pollard. Get this one from Cole. Jordan Love or Zach Wilson? It's Jordan Love. Jordan Love's been playing great. Why we even... Or this is Russell Wilson. Ooh, there's going to be Russell Wilson, right? See, this is what I was talking about. We were talking about Jaden. We got on Jaden for not using first names. Just throws out a random Williams. And this guy's throwing out a random Wilson. We have multiple guys with that name. Although maybe he knows, like, hey, anybody really considering Zach Wilson? No. Either way, I'm still playing Jordan Love over Russell Wilson. I am going to play Jordan Love over Russell Wilson, but it's definitely a lot more of a respectable question at that point. So I do have Jordan Love ranked as my QB. Ooh. Maybe it's not so simple. I'm looking at my rankings. I actually have Russell Wilson ranked as my QB 12 and Jordan Love as my QB 13. And usually when this happens, I don't go with my gut in this moment. I go with myself, who sat down and took time to make these rankings earlier in the week with a clearer mind, less emotional, on the spot decision making. So with that, I'm going to change my answer to Russell Wilson, slight edge over Jordan Love. And the matchup, I think, is better. If you think of the game environment, the Giants' terrible defense, but they're also a terrible offense, which means there's not going to be a lot of points scored in that game, which means that the Packers are going to be less incentivized to drop back a bunch of times with Jordan Love. Where on the other side with Russell Wilson, I expect the Chargers are probably going to put up a pretty decent amount of points. Going against the Broncos defense, the Chargers have talent on offense. I know they're kind of inconsistent all over the place, but there's going to be a lot more points scored in Chargers Broncos than there's going to be in Giants Packers, which means we're going to see more offense, more fantasy points, more actual points, more pass attempts. Give me Russell Wilson. Not Zach Wilson. Russell Wilson. All right. Cody, another question. Pick 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. So 2 wide receivers and 1 flex between Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, and James Cook. So we're definitely playing Justin Jefferson. Easy, right? We're going to play him. Obviously, we got to temper expectations a little bit because he's coming off the injury and he's coming back to play with Josh Dobbs rather than Kirk Cousins. But we're going to play Justin Jefferson for sure. And then I think we're going to play Cortland Sutton as the other wide receiver. All right, so Jefferson and Sutton as the 2 wide receivers. And then for the flex, it comes down to DeAndre Hopkins or James Cook. And I think we had this question earlier, and we went with DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to give you the same answer. We're going to go DeAndre Hopkins, but it's very, very, very close for sure. Very close. So just to recap, 2 wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton. In the flex, we're going to play DeAndre Hopkins. How about from Stanley? We got DK Metcalf or Puka Nacua. With the news about Geno, I know that it's not official that he's going to be out. I still think there's a pretty good chance he plays, to be honest with you. But it's definitely leaning towards it being Drew Lock, unfortunately. So I do have them ranked fairly closely. I'm still going to go DK Metcalf over Puka Nacua. But if you are more concerned about the quarterback situation in Seattle than I am, I give you full permission to play Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is still a fine play. I think I have them both ranked as top 24 running back wide receivers. So I'm playing DK Metcalf over Puka Nacua, but I absolutely cannot blame you. And I give you full permission to play Puka if you're more comfortable with that. I have them ranked very, very closely. So pick 2, Austin Eckler, Jerome Ford, Jerick McKinnon. I think we got to play Austin Eckler. And Jerome Ford. I do like McKinnon, but he hasn't played multiple weeks, and he's going to be mixed in with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So we could definitely see this could be a blow-up game for Jerick McKinnon. It's very possible being against the Bills. But I'm going to play Eckler. I'm going to give Eckler one more week. He's got a good matchup. And we're going to play Jerome Ford. Sit McKinnon. I do like McKinnon this week, though. But I have those guys ranked pretty significantly higher. All right, keep the questions coming. They're continuing to flow on TikTok. If you want to come over to YouTube, find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. I guarantee I'll be able to see your questions because we get a lot less questions on YouTube than we do on TikTok, so I can see them a lot clearer. So I guarantee if you ask a question on YouTube, I will definitely get to it. So thank you for the follow there. The link is in the TikTok bio. Just find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. In the meantime, James Cook or Jahmyr Gibbs. We're going to play Jahmyr Gibbs. Jalen Waddle or Nico Collins. This is definitely Nico Collins. This shouldn't be a question anymore. Nico Collins is a must start every single week. I know it's got a difficult matchup with Tank Dell out and CJ Stroud playing out of his mind. Nico Collins is a must start every single week. Cooper Kupp or Rashee Rice. We're going to go Cooper Kupp. I do like Rashee Rice this week. How about start two? Nico Collins, Breece Hall, or Chris Olave? Like I said, Nico Collins must start every week. We're going to play Nico Collins. And then it comes down to Chris Olave or Breece Hall. Normally, I would say Chris Olave. But with Derek Carr playing from a wheelchair today, I think we got to play Breece Hall over Chris Olave. So I'm going to play Nico Collins and Breece Hall. I can't trust wheelchair-bound Derek Carr to get Olave the ball. All right. JJ is asking, should I start Amon-Ra St. Brown or Michael Pittman? My answer is yes. Yes, please play them both. Find a way. Is there any way you can play them both? Like, what are these leagues? What are these leagues where you can't play Michael Pittman? Doesn't make any sense to me. He's a top 10 wide receiver. With that said, if I have to choose here, it's definitely Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have him in my top 3, top 4 this week. So we're going to play Amon-Ra. DeAndre Swift or Cooper Kupp. This one's from King Clumsy. Love the name. We're going to go DeAndre Swift. I'm going to go Swift over Kupp. Hate to do it. Hate to sit Cooper Kupp, but we've gotten to that point. I'm going to play Swift over him. Oliver, Kenneth Walker, or Dameon Pierce. I'm going to play Kenneth Walker. I know he's coming off the injury, but just a better situation for him than Dameon Pierce, who is still playing behind Devin Singletary, even though it's a split backfield at this point. I'm still going to play Walker over Pierce. Mason's asking, sit one of these guys. Mason asked it like 6 times, so let's not do that. I will see your question. This is how they get lost, is by asking them a million times. So you can tell the people who come over from TikTok and just spam the chat. We know who you are. Don't do that, please. Mason is asking, sit one Mike Evans, Rashad White, Brandon Ayuk, or David Montgomery. This guy is also playing in a baby league, apparently. We're going to have to sit one of these guys. I guess we're going to sit David Montgomery. I guess. We have to sit Montgomery there. We'll play the other 3. Now we got to sift through Mason, who asked this question about 4 million times. Oliver also already answered that question. We're going to play Kenneth Walker over Dameon Pierce. You can tell the people who come over from TikTok, it's hilarious. The audience is completely different. It's wild. Sean is asking, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen. Play 2 of these guys. We're going to play Justin Jefferson, and we're going to play Mike Evans. Sucks to sit Devontae Smith, but if that's the options, then that's what we're going to do. All right. Alex, Gerald Everett, Kyle Pitts, or Isaiah Likely at tight end. I'm going to play Isaiah Likely. He's got a pretty good role there. I know The one game that the Ravens have played before the bye week without Mark Andrews, he only gave you 40 yards, 4 catches, 40 yards. However, that was good enough to lead the Ravens in receiving yards. So that means he is being utilized pretty heavily, even though that game, maybe the passing volume wasn't really there. We're going to play Isaiah Likely. Definitely can't trust Kyle Pitts at this point, and Everett is pretty touchdown dependent. All right, Mason, what the hell are you doing, bro? All right, Ethan, we're at 1 o'clock, so we're going to go rapid fire. Ethan, Jahmyr Gibbs or Travis Etienne? We're going to play Travis Etienne. Love them both, though, this week. This one, Devontae Smith or Nico Collins. We're going to play Nico Collins. Again, you really got to find a way to play both those guys. Man, what is with these questions? DeAndre Swift or Aaron Jones. We're going to play DeAndre Swift. And the rest of them are just repeats. Wild. Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields. Give me Justin Fields. Simon, am I in the green to start? DJ, Debo, and Tyreek. Nico on the bench. I don't know what that means. I would start Nico Collins over Debo Samuel. I would start Nico over Debo. That's what I would do. Dak or Josh Allen. We're going to play Dak. He's my QB1 for the week. Start 2, Zach Moss, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard. Give me Pollard and give me Moss. All right. Yeah, it's too late to make your lineup change at this point, Travis Etienne, but Gibbs is still good. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He's my RB12 for the week. I think I have him a couple of spots behind Travis Etienne. Not a big deal. Both great plays. Can't go wrong with either one. All right. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Good luck. Go make some playoffs. Go clinch some playoff spots. I'll see you guys next week, 12:20 as usual, getting ready for week 15 in the first round of the fantasy playoffs. Thank you, everybody.